Hello there, my name is David Friedman, and today I'm going to demonstrate how to build a simple PHP contact form for your website. In other words, the people who visit your website will be able to send an email directly to you. This tutorial is intended for someone who has basic HTML and PHP knowledge. I hope you are able to learn something new and apply it to your website. For this tutorial, you are going to need a PHP editor. I'm using Zen Development Environment. You're going to need a web browser, and you're going to need your own website to test the code in. In order for the contact form to actually work, you must have PHP installed on the server that your website is running on. Okay, the first step is I'm going to focus on the HTML contact form itself. I've already created the form, and now I'm going to walk you through the steps. You want to start with a blank HTML file, and the first line of code you're going to write is going to be the form tag itself. The form tag is going to contain a method which is going to equal post, and an action which is going to equal mailform.php. What this means is that when the user clicks the submit button, the data is going to be sent through the browser to the mailform.php file. And then the mailform.php file is going to contain the actual PHP code that will send the email. Now we're going to focus on the three labels and the text fields for our form. First, we want to have the user's email, then we want them to type out their subject, and finally we want them to type their message. We are going to use the input tag and specify the type as text in order to create a text field. Input type equals text right here. And we are going to do the same thing for the subject. And we want to give them both a unique name. Name equals email and name equals subject. But for the message field, we're going to use the text area tag, which will give the user more room to type their message in. And then, finally, we're going to create a submit form button. And I want you to type out input type is going to equal submit, and the value is going to be whatever you want the button to say. I chose to write submit form. Now I would like you to save this file and view it in your web browser. As you can see, we have our contact form. We have the headings, we have subject, we have email, we have message, and we also have three text fields for each of the headings. And of course the message field, since we use the text area, is a lot larger. Everything looks correct here, so now we're going to move on to the PHP coding of this tutorial. I'm going to load up my mailform.php, which is already coded, and I'm going to walk you through it. Start by typing out the PHP opening and closing tags to let the browser know that you are going to be executing PHP code. Then we are going to declare three variables that will store the information from the user's form. The proper way to create a variable in PHP is to start out with a $sign and then the name of the variable. We're going to do this for the email, the subject, and the message, as you can see. And we're going to set each of these variables equal to a post variable that is used to gather the data that was passed in from the HTML form. And the next line of code we're going to type is going to be the mail function. But before we do the mail function, we want to gather all of the data from the form so that it can be used in the mail function itself. This function is already built into PHP and will do a lot of the heavy lifting for us. So I want you to type out mail with an open parenthesis, and then it's going to accept 5 parameters, 2 of which are optional. Start by typing out mail and then insert your email inside the quotation marks. Then I want you to do the same thing for the subject, including the subject variable, and also for the message, including the message variable. And last, I want you to type out from and the email of the person who is sending you the message, so you'll know who to reply back to. After the mail function is executed, we want to inform the user that the email was successfully sent. So we're going to type out an echo statement which will print this line of code to the web browser so the user can read it. And that is pretty much it. So we are going to load back up the browser and test the PHP contact form to make sure there aren't any errors. Now I'm just going to insert just some data just to test the form. And now I'm going to click the Submit Form button. And as you can see, it took us to a new page. It loaded up the mailform.php page. Then it ran all of the PHP code that you had written out, and it displayed the confirmation message at the end. Now you can check your email and make sure it actually worked. You have just finished watching a tutorial on how to build a contact form. We went over all of the basic steps, including how to build an HTML form, how to write out the PHP code that will send the email. I hope this tutorial will help you have a better understanding of how to write a contact form for your website. Thank you very much for watching.